After seeing Dune Part 2, I am pretty convinced that Hollywood's been remaking the wrong movies this entire time. Jumping just right into the news real quick. Superman Legacy has been renamed to just Superman. And we got an official look at the Kingdom Come logo by James Gunn, and frankly, I'm not a big fan of this change. I don't really think Superman, or at least James Gunn's iteration, has really earned the Kingdom Come logo, given that's more of like an aged Superman sort of thing when he's been doing this for a couple of decades. It just seems a little bit of an odd choice. And especially since he got rid of Superman Legacy, the legacy part. If anything, he's gonna probably sounds to be a bit younger than he already was. So I don't understand why he has Kingdom Come and why the name changed. But
Yeah, I have
I'll
no
wait for a
idea what he's.
trailer.
I have no idea what he's got lined up. I'm not a fan of the logo. Um, for the same reasons Griff's not a fan of it. His entire purpose for letting Henry Cavill go was because he was going with a much younger Superman.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, the guy he ended up getting is, I think, maybe only a couple years younger than Cavill. He
Mm-hmm.
looks almost exactly like Cavill. So I'm not shitting on Gunn here. I'm not understanding some of his choices. He's been out and about, pretty much shitting on the old regime. Might not want to start out that way. Might want to start out by proving yourself first instead of shitting all over the past
Mm-hmm.
iterations. His movie, as far as we understand, things could change, but right now it's opening up against Fantastic Four,
They're gonna move that
and
release date.
I think DC will move that
DC
release
will.
date.
Yeah.
I don't think Marvel for one
No.
fucking
Marvel did it
second is
on
gonna move
purpose.
it. Yeah.
Yeah, DC has
And
to.
Kevin Feige's he always does something to one up Marvel. When Snyder and Warner Brothers announced, yeah, a lot of people won't remember this now, but go look this shit up online. It wasn't until Warner Brothers announced Batman versus Superman, and then Feige announced Civil War, because Civil War was going to be something completely different. It was going to have the Snake Team or whatever the hell. It wasn't going to be about basically Avengers 3. It was going to be something completely different. Kevin Feige changed that on them almost last minute when he saw the opportunity to go up against DC and yet another rival movie.
Crushed them
And
too.
oh yeah, Civil War completely obliterated BVS. It just, um and here's he took a shot at it, and it's risky because Fantastic Four has never succeeded. So Feige's like really putting all his chips in this one.
But also neither is Superman in a long while.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Also, speaking of which, Wendell Pierce has been cast as Perry White in the new Superman movie. It's it's just another casting announcement. I feel pretty indifferent about it. Perry White can be pretty much played by anyone.
Yeah, it's also funny to me, and this may rub people the wrong way, but as soon as I saw that casting, I'm like, I had just seen him in previous interviews. He was on the Michael Rosenberg podcast,
It's a good
pretty much
podcast.
yeah, absolutely, shitting on, the old regime. The old regime, Snyder, he casted Lawrence Fishburne as Perry White.
He did a great job, I thought.
Gunn goes and hires another black dude in the same role. So I just thought I thought he'd go a different direction. Not like Griff said, not that there's a thing wrong with it. I think the guy, I have never seen too much of him. Um, I'm sure he'll do fine in the role,
I think so
but I
too.
just I just think Gunn sometimes puts his foot in his mouth too much. And so we'll see, because we're gonna have right now, and I do agree with Griff. I'm willing to bet money on it. Warner Brothers, I mean, Max, Discovery, whatever the hell they want to call themselves today, they will change that release date. And if they don't, although I have previously said that I have almost no excitement for Fantastic Four, the way Kevin Feige's recalibrating himself, I think Fantastic Four will beat Superman but it's going to be a coin toss because a lot of people are like, well, Fantastic Four has always been ass at the movies, but Griffin's right. Superman has been hit or miss at the theaters as well, so it's interesting to see. I guess trailers will,
Trailers
you
will
know,
determine a lot from it.
entice our excitement and see what happens. But
But you know what's gonna be
I
fun
don't know.
for us? Double feature Superman and Fantastic Four in the same day.
Hmm.
That would be fun.
That I'm almost certain they will that Warner Brothers will change that release date. I know Feige won't. Feige is hell bent on that,
Yeah,
and it'll be interesting to see who wins that box office.
yeah, I agree.
Because if Gunn pulls it off and beats, if Superman is the number one movie of that weekend, it'll be the first time that DC directly beats Marvel
Yeah,
at the box office.
yeah, it
That would
would.
be historic.
It would. And then a show that many people may have forgotten about, Rings of Power, has an early season three confirmation and confirmation that season two is releasing this year. Hopefully, it's good. Our review of season one is a bit lukewarm. We'll see. It was a very pretty show. I know I liked it, but season two, don't really need it. But we got two more seasons.
Yeah, we'll see how that goes. I mean, it's a very expensive show, so they're putting their chips in there.
Yeah, yeah, they are. And then there's recently a Spawn update where Jason Blum doesn't want the movie to be delayed anymore, but he kind of needs to do something about that because that movie's been confirmed for years
Almost
and
20, if not
there's
more.
been nothing about it.
No, the last I heard about that movie was that Todd McFarlane had Jamie Foxx. I don't
Yeah,
know if that's still happening or not.
I doubt it.
Um, but I mean, I'm a fan of Spawn. I think it's a
Yeah.
great comic. I actually like the first movie. And if you guys don't like the first movie, the John Leguizamo movie, there's an HBO series, animated
Ooh, I
series,
think it's free
just
on YouTube too.
badass,
So
just
good.
badass. It's really good. Stick with that because I may be 60 before we ever get a Spawn live action movie.
It's true.
Just don't see
Got
that happening anymore. Speaking of remakes and things like that, I have no idea why Hollywood does this shit to us.
so okay. Here's my thing about it. I am convinced Hollywood remakes the wrong movies, and Dune is a perfect example of it because Hollywood likes to remake movies that have already succeeded. Case in point, Disney, Little Mermaid, Aladdin, Beauty and the Beast, very iconic movies, ones that are still watched to this day and are still hold up very well. But Hollywood doesn't remake movies that were that had poor execution but had great stories, such as Dune. That was a great remake and had a terrible adaptation in the 80s. So why do all these companies want to keep remaking good movies when their old ones still hold up when they could remake their bad ones and try to make more money from it? I mean, just to prove it's
Well, in
not
the
just
case of
Disney. I
Disney,
mean,
it's to hold
it's to
hold
hold
on
the
to the
rights. Yeah,
rights.
but I mean, the
Yeah,
new Harry Potter series coming up,
that's
that's
just to
not
cash
gonna
in.
but it's not going to be successful. You can make so much more money remaking something that didn't do well. Because I mean, the old Harry Potter movie still holds up. They still sell so much merchandise every year. The Harry Potter world in all of the theme parks is one of the biggest in the United States. Harry Potter makes a lot of money, but I don't think a new show is going to be it. So why don't they just remake their bad stuff? Are they just afraid it's going to fail again?
No, because I mean as you said, the original Dune, the '84 movie, that bombed
Yeah.
and
Well, that's
it bombed
Dune's the
heavily,
exception.
and for instance, there's a Crow remake. You know, Brandon Lee made this movie about 20, 25 years ago. It's a solid movie. It's a cult movie now. Like it's got a giant fan base. And I'm looking at the Bill Skarsgård is starting in the latest
Hmm.
iteration. Now, this movie's been in the works for the last 15, 18 years, and we've had all kinds of people attached to it. We had Bradley Cooper attached to the project at one time, which nobody wanted. We had Jason Momoa, which also nobody wanted, but honestly, we could have
I think
gone with either one of those guys.
Skarsgård
Now,
looks pretty
they've
good.
made sequels to this movie, and all of those sequels tanked the ass. All of them. I think the kid that plays John Connor plays, the Crow at some point. And we all know what happened to the kid that played John Connor, Edward Furlong. After he did, bless you, after he did, Judgment Day, that kid spun off into fucking outer space. And I've seen all the Crow sequels, sadly. I don't know why. And they all sucked ass. I'm telling you right now, they tanked ass. Finally, they got this shit going, right? And I'm looking at the images right now, and if you guys didn't care for Jared Leto's Joker, you can't sit there with the straight face. And matter of fact, do me a favor, Griff. Just humor me.
Huh?
Pull up Brandon Lee as the Crow and pull up this fucking guy as the Crow. And just you don't even have to watch the original movie. Just tell me your thoughts. It's shit is sad. I don't get it. If you're gonna do a remake, why go this route? This looks fucking ridiculous. It doesn't even like Brandon Lee, the way he looks in The Crow, that's iconic. That shit is
That's
like
true.
you don't need to mess with it.
So,
This is just pathetic. This is sad. Bale's a good actor. I don't know why he lend himself to this. I hope this paycheck is huge because if not,
I
this could put his career at a standstill.
I think you nailed it with comparing it to Jared Leto's Joker.
As soon as I saw it, I was like, Jesus Christ.
Like the smiles, that is
His haircut too. I mean,
yikes.
it's bad. They released
Yeah, that makes
two. Like, I'm wondering who was in charge of releasing these images. Because if I would have supervised this, I would have been like, guys, we can't do this shit. They're gonna eat us alive.
I mean, do they think it's for like a new target demographic? But if so, I
I don't know
mean,
what the hell they're going for, but this is horrible.
that's I haven't seen the original Crow. I'm not gonna pretend I know what it's even about. But that just looks
And the headline
it
is
looks like a lot of bad decisions culminated into one night.
the headline is the original Crow director is not a fan of Bill Skarsgård's version. Of course not.
Yeah, because it looks really bad. So wait, did The Crow need a remake, in your opinion?
No. No, there are
So
movies that just don't need to be remade. Maybe
yeah.
the remake could be good, but do you need it? No, The Crow doesn't need one. It
Do you
did need
think this is a
sequels.
cash grab?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
It's a
So
cash grab and it's a stupid ass move.
yeah,
You know what movies don't ever need remakes? The Crow, Godfather, Star Wars,
Pulp Fiction.
Pulp Fiction. There's just movies that you just shouldn't. Terminator 2,
Yeah.
maybe Terminator 1. I know people are gonna be pissed.
Yeah.
Maybe Terminator 1, Terminator 2. Don't fuck with it.
I wouldn't
RoboCop
I
clearly
wouldn't
did not
remark
need a remake.
I wouldn't yeah, exactly. I mean, RoboCop the first one did well, but it was just a cash grab. So I guess most of them, I guess the motivation seems to just be a cash grab for it. But if you want to make money, this is no secret, you need to spend money too and hire a good writing team because more often than not, they fail on the writing end and these movies don't get out of opening weekend. So then, if you could remake any movie, one that hasn't had the remake yet, which one would you do? And let us know in the comments which movie you would want remade
If I could do it,
if you could do it.
man, never ending story. But only if I could do it and if I were in charge of like making sure that shit was just
Yeah, because that could be a very
an
powerful remake.
updated visual effects remake. But I
Yeah,
wouldn't I wouldn't mess with the story in any sort of way. I would literally just it would be a shot by shot remake with today's obviously with fresh actors, with,
So
newer, just because the special effects in that movie it's another movie that if you're gonna touch it, only do it if you're gonna do it right.
so then why don't you just remaster the special effects and just not reshoot the whole movie? Can you just do it that way?
Mm, no,
Okay.
no, because when you redo a movie, there's, as we've seen with these live action Disney movies, there's always things you can add.
Okay, so other things you'd want to add to it as well then?
Yeah, I wouldn't take away anything from the movie.
Okay,
That's what I
got
meant. I
it.
wouldn't take away anything. Like I wouldn't cut any scenes. I would add maybe little, bits and bits. But like that movie is, um, if you saw it growing up, that movie fucked with your life in
Yeah,
good and bad ways. But
fair
that
enough.
movie with today's, special effects, today's sound effects and things like that, I think that movie could be huge. It would be epic. But I would agree that if that movie's done by someone like these idiots, they would just ruin it. Because that
Yeah.
movie sadly has two sequels and they suck ass. They're horrible. And clearly it's not the same. You can tell. Not the same team, obviously not even the same costume designers. You can just, if you go from one to two, it's not even the same damn kid.
Ugh, fair enough. So then also, I guess just on the topic of remakes and which ones we would want to remake, do you think, pretty sure there's not much of a debate here, but do you think Hollywood's been running out of ideas?
Yeah,
Why do you why do you think that is?
it could be a whole bunch of stuff, man. We could be here all day, which we can't, but it could be they don't want to pay writers.
I think
They
that's the
don't,
biggest reason.
they just, they're like, oh, well, this worked then. Let's see if it works now, like all these horror remakes.
Yeah. I mean, it just
Do
seems
we need a Michael Myers series?
no. It
Could it be good?
just
Yeah. I mean, they did make a series out of Hannibal, and that series was actually very good.
true, we wouldn't have told him to touch that at all.
Yeah, I would have never, especially after they did. See, with the Hannibal franchise, it started becoming a cash grab. You could tell. Like I was very interested. I was okay with them doing Red Dragon because I
Mhm.
always wanted to see Red Dragon done the way it was supposed to be. The book is fucking amazing.
Yeah.
So when they announced Red Dragon, I mean, by the way, there is a Red Dragon version out there. It's just called Manhunter, and the reason they couldn't call it Red Dragon in the early 80s, 90s, it's the dumbest shit ever. Because there was another movie out there with the word dragon, and they didn't want to be similar. It's
Hmm.
fucking stupid reason. But that's actually a fairly good movie. It's just, you know, the cinematography sucks ass.
Yeah, no,
Yeah, and Anthony Hopkins isn't Hannibal Lecter in that movie. So the movie's it's pretty solid. But then, after, and it was years after the success of Silence of the Lambs, easily 15, 20 years, if not more, that they, went and decided, let's do, they did it in the oddest fucking way possible. They did Hannibal, which is a direct sequel to Silence of the Lambs, which by the way, Jodie Foster was like hard pass. Even though Anthony is in it. She passed on it. I'm not sure why she passed on it. It's not a bad movie. It's not the greatest movie. It's not as, let's be fair, it's not as good as Silence of the Lambs, but it's pretty solid. And then they were like, whoa, 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 let's go back and tell the original. Because if you guys don't know, it's Red Dragon, Silence of the Lambs.
hmm
So they went back and did it. Unfortunately, it's Brad Ratner. Um, but it's a pretty solid movie. It's got a solid cast. I do like Edward Norton as Will Graham. He fits the part. Movie's great, but then they got greedy with the shit. They were like, we've got Silence of the Lambs, we got Hannibal, we've got Red Dragon. Let's tell the origin. Stop with the origin story of these iconic
That
villains.
does happen a
Let's
lot.
tell the story of young Hannibal. Nobody needed that shit, and the movie sucked. It was going in a great direction because Macaulay Culkin was lined up to play the part, and he was really excited. He was actually part of like the writing team, and Thomas Harris was gonna, they were lining it up. That shit fell apart, and we ended up with what we got, which is Hannibal Rising. That fucking movie sucks.
Doesn't even sound good. But yeah, I definitely think that's just part of Hollywood running out of ideas because they just keep making these spin-offs, sequels, prequels, because they just can't tell an original story and won't pay money for an original story.
there are sequels and there are prequels I think we
Oh
need,
yeah, no, 100%.
but there are
There's a
others that
lot
you
that
can
we
tell me right
don't.
now that I'm like, nah, we don't.
I would
I don't-
say most of the ones we don't need it. We
Yeah,
don't need a Mufasa prequel
no.
at all.
That may
Sonic,
be a diamond in the rough,
true. But at
but
the
we don't know
moment,
yet.
I'm saying
Yeah, it
no.
sounds horrible.
Sonic 3, yeah. Deadpool 3, absolutely. Like you said, did we need all those Hannibal Lecter spin-offs?
No.
Do we need six
We
Scream
actually didn't
movies,
even
all
need
of the
Hannibal.
Halloween?
We
Yeah,
did need Hannibal. We needed Red Dragon.
yeah,
If you want to sit through two good suspense detective movies, watch Red Dragon, watch Silence of the Lambs, and call that shit a day. You don't need to watch the other ones.
yep, fair
Or
enough. I
just watch the series. It's on Netflix now or Prime or some shit like that.
I may have to do that.
Yeah.
No, I just especially after the strike and the level of quality of writing that we've gotten since then, just is not great. All most of the movies we have seen have been pretty bad due to bad writing. They've had great stars, good special effects, just the writing team can't seem to pull it off. It could just be the studio doesn't want to pay them more and they sort of just they hire cheaper, but some of these movies have just been so bad. I mean, Argyle, Madam Web, even Percy Jackson, Avatar, it's just bad writing will tank your movie more than bad acting, I think. Because you could have the best actors in the world. If you have bad acting, it's not going to go anywhere. I just don't understand why Hollywood doesn't want to pay that money. Because that's how you're going to make your money. That's how you're going to start a franchise. That's how you're going to get
I mean, look at
merchandise.
Dune. I'm
Exactly.
telling you right now that Denis has already spoken about it at length. The amount of money, the Dune Part One came out in pandemic and made them cash,
Yeah.
and they immediately were like, before they even were like, yeah, let's greenlit Part Two. They were talking about a Benny Gesserit Sisterhood HBO spinoff, and that shit's being written. I don't know if they're done with it. Then they could.
It's
I
good they're
mean,
taking their time.
it's a giant universe.
Yeah.
They could spin.
It's like
Look at
Star
Star
Wars.
Wars today. 20 years ago, if you guys would have told me we would have gotten Bad Batch, Clone Wars, all this other shit, I would have been like, you guys are crazy. We
Yeah.
could end up with so much. And I do agree with Griff because yesterday I looked in my shelf and I saw the other books and I just briefly read the synopsis for the other books and I'm like, I don't want this. I just don't want this. I've read them. I don't need it. I don't need Dune Messiah. I don't need the Worm God Emperor.
Don't need
I
any
don't
of it.
need it. They're gonna do it until it stops making the money. And if they continue to do what Denis has done, which is they have a
Money.
phenomenal director, they have a great cinematographer, their sound guy is top five out there, their costume designer is, one of the most brilliant people out there, and their writing staff team is fucking superb. That's why that movie's gonna make probably $1 billion.
Yeah, because they spent
Probably.
money to make money. And frankly, if they make those sequels, they're
I mean, just
on
look at the
not well
cast.
received books, but it's still probably gonna at least be more enjoyable.
Well,
Yeah, the
see, here's
cast
the thing.
is
So
insane.
I'm one of the guys that's read all the books. And I'm not saying that there's few people out there that have read the books. There's probably a ton. And let's say 50-50. Some of them love it. Some of them are like me. They're like, that shit is crazy.
Hmm.
But there's a ton of people out there who have never read the books.
Hmm.
Who that's going to be a new experience for? I don't know. Maybe they'll love that crazy shit because
Yeah, I
it does
mean,
get crazy.
it happens all the time. And I mean, it happened with Dark Knight Rises, where a lot of people who read the comics weren't a fan of Bane, but everyone else loved it. like things with that with it not being comic accurate. I mean, it's exact same point there. I haven't read the books yet. By the time the movie comes out, I'll probably have read all the books. I think I'm going to. I can get all of them for pretty cheap, but I do think that does play into their favor. And I think if they make some changes to the book or like to the script and they add some things or take some things away, they could probably make it a really good story. Yesterday, I didn't want them to make it. I still think they could stop now and be perfect.
Hmm.
But I think if they did it, I wouldn't really be that upset by it. I would be pretty. I know this is the point where when do you stop a franchise from going too far? This is
They don't know.
probably that moment.
That's the problem with Hollywood. They don't know. They don't know.
Do you think
And
this
when
is that
they've,
moment?
yeah, this would be that moment for me.
Y-
I
Well,
would.
for you, but for, I mean, like you said the other day, it's Denis' favorite book. And if you've seen what he can do with something that's not his favorite, but something he puts his even more time and energy to that he wants to make especially good, do you not think he can pull off Messiah?
I think he could. I just don't know if I'll love it. I I
That's
I
fair. Okay, I can see that.
I,
Yeah.
I don't because I don't love the book. Like the book, I'm just like,
It'll
I
be a
mean,
success though.
could be, it could
Yeah.
be. But see, that's the problem with Hollywood. They don't know when to stop, and when they try to stop, they only fuck it up. Like I remember X-Men: The Last Stand. For some reason, Fox was like, "This is it. This is our absolute final X-Men movie. We are not make." They made this big announcement on every
Mhm.
interview. All of the cast members were on. They were like, "Yeah, this is it." And I'm like, why the fuck would this be it? Like it makes no logical reason for this to be it. You guys are the X-Men. You could keep this
Yeah.
shit going for 30 years.
Easily.
And even the cast was like some of the younger ones like Anna Paquin and stuff, they were like, I don't know, they just told us that this was it. And it tanked so hard that they were like, yeah, maybe this isn't it.
We got some of the best movies. Disney Future Fast, Past, and First Class are both very good.
So,
No, you're
Kevin Feige, I don't think he's got any plans of saying, you know what, I've made enough money. I'm gonna just let someone else take this. No, I mean,
no.
dude, we're about to get the X-Men introduced into the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
That opens up so many doors.
There's no way that guy's like, yeah, you know what, we're only gonna do about four X-Men movies and call it a day. There's no, I mean, that makes no fucking sense whatsoever.
Yeah,
Look how many Spider-Man movies we've gotten.
that could easily be X-Men.
Yeah.
Then again,
Now
we I think we've gone those that many X-Men movies.
we have, which is proving my point. They
Yeah,
tried to stop, and then I'm guessing someone was like, wait a minute, why do you want to stop the fucking train machine? The money machine. Why? What are you crazy? Look how long the comics have been around for. Look how many Batman movies we're still getting.
it's true.
So, my final thoughts on this whole situation is that they got to get their shit together. They got to
Hmm.
just pay the good writers. There are good writers out there. We've seen it. We just saw it. And I'll end with a question. Not what are you most excited for? What do you think is going to win the box office? Superman or Fantastic Four?
It's a great question. And as always, thank you guys for watching. Leave a like, comment, subscribe. Hit the notification bell, stay up to date with our current videos. We'll see you guys next time.
Take care, guys.